अरे कोई तो भगाओ इसको बेंचो, मेरे जगह वो भी डीसी दे रहा है. Hello guys and welcome to MotorBeam. The motorcycle on my right is the BMW G310 GS which costs up to 3,80,000 rupees on road Mumbai, and the one on my left is the KTM 390 Adventure spoke wheel variant, and that one comes at a cost of 4,30,000 rupees on road Mumbai. The price difference between both of them is close to 50,000 rupees. Does it make sense to invest more and get a 390 Adventure, or what is your purpose? Let's find out, and let me clear all the doubts today. There is one more variant, and that is the Adventure X. We'll bring it in as a supportive party to show off the differences. Let's go. There is definitely one thing that the KTM orange does stand out quite a lot. It's a bhadak color right over here. Lekin, if you want a big bike feel overall, the KTM does it well, but the BMW G310 GS feels like a bigger Beamer here. This motorcycle is just maddening, and yes, it belongs to a friend of mine, hence it has a set of accessories. The visor being this tall, guards are extra, these lights too, making this motorcycle look like a bigger GS, which is like crazy. Even if I compare the dimensions, the motorcycles don't differentiate as much, and there's one thing that the GS gets a beak which is missing on the 390 Adventure, and that is the reason the GS looks a lot more bigger. Styling differences jo hai, that is your view. If you like it, you might get it. If you like the GS more, you should pick that. If you like the 390 Adventure more, you should pick that. If you want a bluer color shade or something like that, which is in a bright shade altogether, the KTM has a lot more options. If you go for the standard variant, you can get blue shade, black, white. There are a lot of colors there. For the GS2, there are darker color options. There's triple black as well, and that actually looks quite nice. If we talk about the similarities, both the motorcycles now get LED indicators, LED headlight, LED tail light, so that is a definite good thing, and 19-inch wheel at the front and a 17 at the rear. However, the KTM runs on slimmer tires, that is 100 section front and 130 rear, while the same on the GS is 110 front and 150 rear. Talking about the cluster and the switchgear over here, you get a colorful TFT on the KTM 390 Adventure. You get riding modes, that is road, off-road. You get ABS modes, plus you get traction control, which is there. So the KTM 390 Adventure, for that extra money, is already loaded. Plus you can get a lot more data on your phone as well with KTM My Ride too. So that is definitely a plus. For the BMW, you don't get anything like such. Earlier, before the BS6 update came in, there was switchable ABS, but now that has been taken off too. However, the switchgear feel on the BMW is a lot more premium, and it does feel like a pricey motorcycle. So coming in a little bit closer, you can notice that there is a top box mount over here, but this grab rail, which is an extended unit, comes as a standard on the GS, so that is definitely a plus from my side. However, a minus is the size of the foot peg you can see on the GS. Although the rubber is removable, on the 390 Adventure you can see the size that is almost 3 finger long. I have removed the rubber right now so that I have more grip going off the road. However, for the GS it's just 2 finger, or actually smaller than that. So 390 Adventure over here over the GS. On the 390 Adventure you get a 5-step adjustable lever for the brake as well as the clutch, while the same on the GS it's just a 4-step adjustable unit. So yes, for both it is adjustable, which is great. However, as a standard feature you get a 12-volt socket, which I've put a charger over here so that I can charge my phone. So there are no accessories on this motorcycle. There's one that is standard, which I like quite a lot. Over here there are a ton of accessories which have been added. So yes, there is definitely a plus. It is a canvas where you can work upon, but this is nice. Seat on the 390 Adventure is however longer for the rider, and it is a lot more accommodating. Plus it's a split seat setup. So if I just go to the measurements, 1, 2, 3 and a quarter, and for the GS it is about 1, 2 and less than 3. So yes, there is a little less space here, but a lot more comfortable. Yes, this is a padded cushion right now which has been added, but a standard seat too. The GS is a lot more comfortable, while the cushioning on the 390 Adventure needs a little bit more work. Little bit, thoda sa. You can see the bash plate on the GS. It's a plastic unit. This is something that I don't like at all. The same is the case on the 390 Adventure, but yahan pe you get a cover which is there for the exhaust, which is in metal. Apart from that, ye abhi bhi wahi hai. क्या बोलते हैं, प्लास्टिक ही है दोनों में. The coolant reservoir for the KTM 390 Adventure is kind of exposed. You can see it right over here. However, the same for the GS. It is a little bit inside. किधर गया रे? इतना अंदर है. You can see that. That is the reservoir right there. दिखेगा नहीं दिखेगा, दिखेगा नहीं दिखेगा. Focus. No focus, bro. आया. Yep, that is the reservoir. Now the weight difference between both the motorcycles is not too much. It's about 3 or 4 kgs actually, but the KTM does feel a little bit heavy to move around, because yes, it is a heavier motorcycle. The GS on the other hand feels a lot more smoother, feels a lot more easier, plus the handlebar turns a lot more as compared to that of the KTM. You know what? The major difference over here is with the suspension and the ergonomics. So let's find that out. Now let's check out the ergonomics of the KTM 390 Adventure. Now this one has a seat height of 855 mm. The seat cushioning is decent, but is a little bit hard. However, you get adjustable suspension, and if I swing my leg up, I am 5 feet 6 inches and I am tiptoeing right over here. I've kept the preload to the setting 3 and everything is soft over here. I'll have a pillion with me, Zubair Rajao, and he'll hop on too and he'll tell us if he is comfortable or not, is it spacious or not. Kaisa hai ye?
Yeah, it has enough space.
Enough space. And how's the cushioning?
Cushioning is not too good.
Not too good. Okay, so enough space hai, lekin cushioning is not the best. Thank you, Zubair. However, the commanding posture gives you a lot better feel, and here I'll give you an example of how the suspension is acting up. This is after keeping the suspension super duper soft. Like all the settings, the preload, compression, whatever you can do it over here, it's soft. Let's see the same for the GS. And you can see my feet are touching down. The seat height is at 835 mm, 20 mm less than that, and the handlebar feels a lot lower also compared to that of the 390 Adventure. As I said, the handlebar moves a lot more. I am actually resting my stomach on the tank because of the curvature. And for the pillion, Zubair वापस. Thank you. अभी बताओ कौन सी सीट बेटर थी?
इसका थोड़ा सा width कम है. मतलब length is slightly smaller than that.
Okay, but is it comfortable? Is it softer?
It is softer than that.
So the seat of the GS is a lot more comfortable for the pillion. लेकिन if you have a heavy, bigger pillion, you might actually like the 390 Adventure. उसमें थोड़ा cushion डाल दो तो हो जाएगा. Thank you, Zubair. And the major part is the suspension, because the moment I do this, and the suspension at stock is very, very soft on the GS as compared to that of the 390 Adventure. So if you want to go touring, this is the motorcycle that you want, because the KTM 390 Adventure is a lot more off-road ready, while the GS is a lot more touring ready. Luckily, there's no changes done to any of the motorcycles in terms of engine performance or exhaust. So let's hear the stock exhaust note. This is the GS. And we are very familiar with this exhaust because it's the same 310cc engine, 313cc that does duty on the RR, the Apache. It is not as quick revving, and it does sound quite harsh. See, the dog is also upset now for the noise of the GS. Let's hear the same for the 390 Adventure. Things have become a lot more smoother over here, and the noise, you can see, it's a little bit less. However, this motorcycle does vibrate. Nice. While the dog is upset, I suppose, for both the motorcycles, because both the motorcycles don't sound as good, but KTM is slightly better than that of the GS. The large difference between both the motorcycles is the alloys that are present for the GS. While you get the alloy variant on the 390 Adventure, but you don't get adjustable suspension. You want top of the line spec, you get this, which is, yes, 25,000 costlier than the standard variant, but it is damn worth it. You know what? Let's ride it and I'll tell you more about it. So the one thing that I understand while riding the GS is that this motorcycle produces a good power, that is 33 bhp or 34 bhp almost, and 27 Nm of torque from the 313cc motor, but it has a speed spot between 4 and 6,000 rpm. That is where this motorcycle feels very lively, very nice, and it opens up after that too. So it's pretty good. However, if you notice, there are tons of accessories on this motorcycle. The visor hai, ye sab kuch hai. The amount of movement it has, it is a little bit too much. That is not a problem. The problem is that as I downshift and I go, the amount of vibes coming from this motor to the balls, to the tank, it's just too much. And the way you see it dives as soon as I brake, the suspension is just too soft. So if you like a motorcycle that can go touring, this one can do it really, really well. It can stay at 100 km/h at somewhere close to 6,000-7,000 rpm, and that is where I said is a sweet spot. 6-speed gearbox, shifts very nicely, no quick shifter, no electronics, no traction control, nothing special. Only ABS is there, and that is also not switchable. So yes, this is not a very exciting motorcycle, but this is a very purposeful motorcycle. 3,80,000 where you get the BMW badge and a big bike feel, and that is what people get this motorcycle for. The best part about this motorcycle is actually the way it flicks through, because the amount of confidence that you get through the dynamics of this motorcycle, although the suspension is way too soft, it is very nice. As you can see, even the uncle right next to me or the one people ahead are looking back on this motorcycle because it is a standout machine. Let's switch to the KTM 390 Adventure and let's see how better is it, or is it on the Versa side to have a touring motorcycle. Let's go. मैं तो सीधा यहाँ पे ऑफ रोड में उतार के ऐसा चला के आई कैन स्टॉप हियर आराम से. Time to ride the 390 Adventure, and first things first, you get a lot of adjustability right over here. तो यहाँ पे if you are riding on roads where there are literally no roads, you can actually keep going at a decent speed and then just jump onto it. No issues at all. So there are a lot of things on this motorcycle. You get a ride mode where the acceleration and everything changes, street and off-road उसमें मिलता है. ABS में also you get road and off-road. Basically off-road ride mode में you get a little more torque lower down, so that is a nice thing altogether. And as we talk about the motorcycle, the way this motorcycle revs, the way this quick shifter acts, because it gets a quick shifter too, it gets all the kind of electronics, traction control, cornering ABS, सब कुछ मिलता है आपको यहाँ पे. So that is definitely a plus. Plus adjustability suspension, and this motorcycle cruises at 100 kilometers per hour, little below 6,000 RPM, which is 5,500 RPM. So yes, this one has a lot more capabilities of going the distance, but then the suspension setup is a little bit hard compared to what we've got on the GS. Hard in the sense, you can see there's no diving movement. Even if I reduce the clicks to the softest setting, it bottoms out, but it is not too soft. So yes, you get more suspension travel on the GS, you get more ground clearance on the GS, but the GS is a lot more road motorcycle, going off the road, going on bad roads, going on no roads at times. The 390 Adventure with spoke wheels will definitely help you, because spoke wheels makes things a lot more better, and overall this is a better package altogether. Has a very good engine now with the BS6 6.2 compliance and E20 compliance and whatever the rest of things is. This motorcycle revs nicely, but it does not vibrate as much. So the amount of vibration that you expect from a KTM are not really there. So definitely this is a nice overall package. You get a lot of things. You can make this your canvas and you can add up a lot of things too. Visor डाल दो, knuckle guards को change कर दो, lights डाल दो, guards डाल दो, whatever you want to do, and this motorcycle will still support you. And the overall balance of this motorcycle is kind of 60-40, 60 on the front and 40 on the rear. But the same on the GS, it's like 70-30, more front heavy, less rear heavy. So as I keep saying, overall this motorcycle feels a lot more better, a lot more stable, but for highway duties a lot more stable. Off the road, on road is decent, but if you want to go off the road, the GS is a lot more front heavy, a lot more stable, and straight line stability bhi mast hai usme. So yeah, on road GS, off road on road both, the 390 Adventure, because it gets spoke wheels now. So the amount of accessories that have been actually put on the GS costs a little more than 50,000 rupees. So if you consider the price difference, 3,80,000 with all the accessories, it goes up to 430, 435, 440 maybe, and this as a stock comes to 4,30,000. Now both the motorcycles are quite different in terms of what they have to offer. There's also one more thing, that the GS is a lot more touring ready. That is a motorcycle that can go the distance without having any problems, but that one falls back because of the 11-litre fuel tank. Over here you get a 14.5-litre fuel tank. So yes, for 50,000 extra you get a lot more things that are extra. Adjustable forks, a better motorcycle altogether. Yes, I'm claiming this because I like the 390 Adventure more, because it is a lot more ready motorcycle. It is a complete package and you can actually go touring, off-roading and do whatever you want with this motorcycle. The GS has limited features and the service cost for the BMW is way too high than you can imagine. So if you want a great motorcycle, the 390 Adventure is one, with a lot of variants that are on offer. The X variant, which is the cheapest variant, cheaper than the GS, does everything the same, does not get traction control, does not get any electronics, which is basically the GS that is there. So you can have fun on the X2. However, if you want a premium motorcycle feel and a big bike feel, and you don't worry on spending your money, BMW, that is a good bike as well. At the end of the day, if you take my personal choice, I'll pick the KTM over the BMW. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.